Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy III for the Nintendo Famicom system. Last episode we just entered the ancient maze very quickly to grab the Earth Crystal. Now we're going to put the new Earth Crystal jobs to use. We have 3 of them, so we're going to have to once again take everybody's equipment off. I apologize for the capture card messing up here. Normally if it messes up like this and I don't notice it until after I start, cutting things out, I can go back and redo the section that kind of messed up. But I kind of did 2 videos in a row, so when I made my saves, I saved over my previous version, and I wasn't able to go back and change it. So I apologize. Not much is really going on here, other than changing the jobs. I have to de-equip everybody with their equipment, and then I can change them into their jobs. So, Tupelo is a Magus, which is an updated Black Mage. Tangeweenie here is a Summoner, which is an updated Evoker. And Baby Moo is a Devout, which is the updated White Mage. I'm going to have to get Tupelo a little bit of some Black Magic for some of the lower levels. We're also going to have to get some equipment. We don't have much equipment for these characters, but that's okay because they're all in the back row. So I don't really need a lot of defensive equipment. We can buy armor for all of them at this shop here in the Invincible. So we will do that. But they're going to be lacking headgear, and the Tupelo and Tangeweenie will be lacking weapons as well. But they're not going to be attacking to to do their damage. They'll be working on their spells. So we'll buy the white robe for Baby Moo and 2 black robes. A black robe for Tupelo and then for Tangeweenie. We go with the black robe because black robe gives +5 intelligence, white robe gives the +5 soul, and the summoner's damage is based on its intellect. So we want to boost that up instead. Give Tupelo and Tangeweenie the black robes, and then we'll put the white robe on Baby Moo. Like I said, they'll be lacking a lot of defensive equipment, but it's okay. And they will be in the back row. So we're going to get rid of that cure spell. We don't need that anymore. We don't need to put it on anybody else either. We'll buy a few spells here. We'll just buy the Quake spell for Tupelo. I'm getting all confused. So, and then, like I said, we'll grab a few more back in Saronia, and back on the floating continent in Canaan, we'll buy 1 spell for them. So. Everybody else's spells are pretty full for the most part. We'll take off a few of these spells to give to from Tangeweenie and from Baby Moo to give to Tupelo, and then eventually they'll all be dropped off, pulled off again, and given back to those characters. So we're going to take advantage of our free in, and we're going to do a little bit of monster farming here. So there's 3 new monsters around this area, so we might as well pick them up. They're on the land, so you won't encounter these guys in the sky. So, let's just wander around a little bit here, grab these 3 enemies. And there's 2 of them right here, the Liger, and which is the tiger on the bottom, and then we have the Minotaur on the top there. Sleep is pretty effective. Which is why I kept it all this time, because it's good for crowd control, and because right now a lot of times, like those in a level 1 elemental spell, or even this level 1 summon here that we're going to do, the Chocobo, not going to deal enough damage to really defeat an enemy, so you might as well just instead of dealing damage, maybe try to put him to sleep. If it works, then you've taken that enemy out of combat. So, so it's a good, nice defensive measure. So, better than a little elemental spell at that level. So, I'll be using it quite a bit. I have to take off one of those bio spell, then give that to Tupelo there. Oh, see, look, got two full, slowly petrified there, so if we hit it one more time like that, we can turn into stone. But I'm getting to see what all the different summons look like now, and that they can use their summon effect. The summon effect could not be used with the evoker, but now the summoner here uses the main summon effect, which is good for damage, but we're going to change back to evoker for one battle, because we're going to need Odin's his support ability in an upcoming battle. So we're actually going to have to downgrade from the summoner to the evoker. But for the most part, the summoner is much better. So here we have the last new enemy we want to encounter here, the Death Needle. Always thinking of those. Whenever I see these enemies, I think of Final Fantasy IV and where they counter with a needle attack. If you hit them and don't defeat them in one hit, the needle attack tends to deal a lot of damage. So it's a pretty strong attack, especially compared to their normal physical attack. So we got the Titan. He just comes out, does his oat shake, hits everybody, as opposed to punching and kicking, which only hits one enemy. And we have taken out all the enemies around here, so woo! Now we can head back into our Invincible, and we're going to head over to Saronia, because we're going to make our way back to the floating continent. So going to Saronia is is on the way, and it allows us to grab some spells, so that Tupelo will have basically spells in all the all his levels there. So we're missing quite a few of the earlier ones. I didn't hold on to them because, you know, as you saw, we had a lot of inventory issues, spacing, but it's okay. We can pick up the spells that we need. We don't really even need the spells, but just to be safe, you know, to get the characters their most points in terms of what they do for their jobs, to gain job levels. And in terms of points given toward job levels, the Magus and Devout get 12 points each for using magic, and 4 for fighting or using an item. And the Summoner gets 12 for magic, 8 for fighting, and 4 for using an item. So the two areas we want to stop in here are the northeast and the northwest Saronia sections of town, to grab the Thundaga spell, and we're also going to grab a Thunder spell back in Canaan, back on the floating continent, and we have another spell to pick over on the left here. I'm drawing a blank now, but we'll get it real quick. So the Thunder spell is going to be very, very useful when we go back to the floating continent, because the one of the optional dungeons we're going to go to, Lake Dole, where that sea monster was. Enemies there are going to be weak to lightning, so we get the level 2 elementals, Fire and Thundara. We'll give them to our Tupelo there. So that should give us most of our spell levels. And we're just missing level 2, but we'll get the Thunder spell back in Canaan on the floating continent. And that's near where we want to go to anyway. So we have 2 optional dungeons on the floating continent that we're going to be doing. Lake Dole, which is where we can get the Leviathan optional summon, which is the level 7 summon, and then the level 8 summon is Bahamut. We gotta go to Bahamut's nest. Conventional wisdom would say, hey, go after Leviathan first, because level 7 summon, he's, you know, gonna be a little bit easier. But the dungeon to get to Leviathan is a little bit longer than the Bahamut's nest dungeon. So I'm going to do Bahamut's nest dungeon first, just because I've already done you know, I'm almost 10 minutes into this video. I just reached a floating continent. So this way I can do part of the Bahamut's nest and then get to a save point. So Canaan is the village where Sid was from, and also near where Bahamut's nest is. Well, his nest that we discovered Desch in. But the actual nest is a different dungeon that we were unable to reach until we got the Invincible. So we're gonna have to jump over a little piece of the mountains. Same thing with the Lake Dole dungeon. We're gonna have to jump over a little piece of the mountain and then hop into that lake, and you have to canoe to where the serpent is. But so let's go pick up Bahamut. Both of these dungeons are really good places to level grind. I won't be doing that, but if you need to level grind later on, both good places because the enemies give pretty good experience, and especially in the whatchamacallit, the Leviathans, Lake Dole, the enemies all have that thunder weakness, so you can pretty much wipe them out with a Thundaga spell or Vamu summon. Unfortunately, though, after you get the Leviathan, you leave that dungeon, you can't go back to it. So, Bahamut's nest tends to be, I guess, a little bit better. So, now Bahamut can be a tricky boss, so I want to make sure I save here real quick. So, this is why I accidentally saved over the bottom one there, so I couldn't redo that from the thing at the beginning. So it actually took me 3 tries to defeat Bahamut. So you kind of, unless you're really super level grinded, you know, sometimes it can be a luck-based battle. So, as I said in several of the other old episodes, sometimes luck doesn't seem to be with me. So, one of my retries was I had one of my characters knocked out by these grenades. Like the grenades in Final Fantasy II, if you damage them and you don't defeat them, they'll assess the situation and blow up, and they can do a lot of damage to you. And I like to keep all my characters at the same level, the same experience, just my obsessive compulsiveness. And so I was like, oh, well, gotta reset. Restart that save. And then the second time was I had an issue with Bahamut. I wasn't getting the spell that I needed. So, you gotta see the Odin summon there. Odin just instantly wipes out characters. So that's why they used like a black background for the enemies there. There was an interview with the developer of the game, and he basically said like this way we can kind of layer the enemies, make them layers, and then we can split the layers to do that Zenkan-Tetsu effect, where they get split into different pieces, where Odin like runs them through with a sword. So, although Odin in like the Norse mythology, he's known for his spear, the Gungnir spear that does lightning and never misses. We saw that in the Final Fantasy Legend 2 playthrough. You got that spear. You get it as a drop from Odin, or you get one in the Nasty Dungeon as a treasure. There's the Drake enemies, they're the pterodactyls in the back there. So, this is a popular group to run into in this, on this floor. So, 5 new enemy types in this area, so, but the other 3 types don't appear until the next floor. So pretty much this floor, we're only going to be running into the grenades and the drakes, the pterodactyls. Surprisingly, if Quake is effective against the pterodactyls, you wouldn't think it would be because they're flying in the air, but Quake does a lot of good damage. Quake is really good for a bunch of multi-targeting it automatically multi-targets. So it's good for like large groups of enemies. For like single bosses, even though Quake is a level higher than Bio, Bio tends to do more damage So it's kind of how the spells a little balance out a little bit. So we've got Great Boroses here. Palatos of those Ouroboroses, which are a popular enemy over in Lake Dole, but we already ran into them. They were the ones that were guarding the elixirs back in the Saronia Catacombs where we picked up Odin. We had to fight one of them every time we got the upper treasure chests. But it was worth it because like I said, we got elixirs every time we fought, and Phoenix Downs when we fought the Aeons in the bottom. And there'll be an enemy in the not the Ancient Maze, but Eureka, the Forbidden Land Eureka, which Doga gave us a little bit of a clue about way back when we first visited him. You know, we helped him out through that cave, the Circle Cave, and he turned our Nautilus, he cast a spell that made our Nautilus be able to go underwater. He said, hey, I gotta go to another dimension to get the Eureka key. So, maybe he's found it, because remember Une said, hey, when you're done here, well, basically when we're done finding the Oath Fang, to come back and visit Doga's Manor. So, she went off there. Alright, got some new items there. Starting to do some interesting things. The Chokebor's Wrath casts like the holy, casts the flare spell when used in battle. Here we have our final little floor here. Phoenix Down, Black Musk, that is an instant death spell. And over to the right, as soon as we get right below the doorway, we'll hear Bahamut call us, and you will go out and have to fight him. So we're going to want to heal ourselves up, of course, and before we go over there, we're going to want to change Tangeweenie into the Evoker class, which is the weaker summoner, but that's because we want to have Odin's Evoker ability kick in, and hope that it kicks in, because like I said, remember there's a 50-50 shot. You know, it could use that like support ability or like kind of an attack ability. So we really want the support Odin ability to pop up. It didn't pop up one time, and that's what caused me another, my second reset. So, this was an annoying battle, which took way longer than it should have, because these Queen Lamias kept glancing and confusing my characters. Well, at the beginning, it would have been better if they, whatchamacallit, confused Fang and Baby Moo, because Tupelo and Tangeweenie have multi-targeting attacks. But they targeted by two multi-target attackers, so... Luckily, Baby Moo was able to silence them after this, and that is a spell ability that they use, the Glance, so we don't have to worry about Glance anymore. Not cooperating, but we're hoping that they can hit our characters and then knock them out, make them come to their senses. Let's use some of these items here. The Turtle Shell casts Protect on whoever uses it. The Lamia Scale casts Confuse. Earth Drone, we already saw, does the Quake spell. The Lilith's Kiss does a Drain attack. So those are some of the items that we picked up. Them out here. See how the Choco Rage does. Yeah, not too good of a damage. But then again, of course, Fang doesn't have a very high intelligence modifier because he is a melee class. So he tend to have lower intelligence modifiers. Well, that would have done probably a lot more damage if it was Tupelo using it. Attack here. No, we got the healing. Boo. Yeah, so you get the 50-50 shot, you know, whether we get the support or the attack. We got the support that time, but when we want to fight Bahamut that one time, we got the attack. It's like, no. So, let's try a different summon here. So when you use a summoner, it does like a hit-all attack. But with the Evoker, you only get like a single target. But still okay. Baby Moo coming through with knocking out that Queen Lamia. Another enemy that have nightmares of in Final Fantasy 4. They have a confuse spell, entice spell, which does like what the confuse spell does there, the glance spell. It turns your character confused, and then they target, you know, their fellow party members. So, you can also think of Lamias, which are palace swap with the Queen Lamia, but there's an item that you can only get from a Lamia drop. And that was when I finally did, when I did my 100% playthrough of that game. It took forever to get that drop, so tried to defeat me in all my might. So yeah, we automatically step out here, and Bahamut's gonna swoop down and attack us. He looks very cartoony, and he's orange in the cutscene there. But in the thing, he's like a whitish gray with some purple in him. And he can be really, really annoying because he tends to spam Mega Flare. And that's why we want the Evoker to use Odin, because when the Evoker uses Odin, Odin's support ability is he puts a wall spell on every character. It'll reflect back one spell. So we have to keep putting it back up and up, but it reflects back one damage spell. It doesn't reflect back healing spell, so Baby Moo can still use the Kiraja here. In the next game, Final Fantasy 4, it does reflect back, and it stays on for multiple turns. But so we already have reflect up, so we can just try to use hopefully get a an attack spell. But see, with everyone reflect, that Mega Flare will reflect back on Bahamut. It does about a third of his hit points in damage, so in case Fang get a little bit more damage out of him. We got the damage with the Titan there. Well, Titan can only do damage, kick or punch. So once again, Bio is a little bit better for single targets or for bosses. We're going to have Tangeweenie put back up the Reflect Barrier, or hope to get the Reflect Barrier, and I get lucky, and it does happen. So, Tangewenie's going to come through, summon Odin, and Odin's going to come through and use the support ability and give us back that wall, which will pretty much seal Bahamut's fate. So, yeah, he reflected his spell back on himself and defeated himself. And for defeating Bahamut, we get the Bahamut Summon. Just like with the Odin Summon, we'll have to go into our menu and select it. And, like see, it appears as an item. And we'll just select it and give it to Tangeweenie, who will be turning back into the Summoner. Unfortunately, we don't have the level right now to use the Bahamut Summon, but we'll get it eventually, so. Eventually we'll find a shop that also sells the Bahamut, Leviathan, and Odin summon, like how we had shops that sold the other 5 summons, but that'll be much, much later. So yeah, we'll be able to get those summons on all our characters we want, or mainly on Tangeweenie and Baby Moo. But that'll be for another episode. Next episode, let's go get Leviathan. Take care. See you then. Bye.